All right. Well, I want to get started. Turning to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. Bible says in verse 5, this is Jeremiah, or starting in verse 4, Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee. Before thou camest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. I want to answer a question that may trouble some of you. Some of you may have never been troubled by this question, but I think a lot of us have. That is the question, why am I the way I am? The Bible says in Jeremiah, God talking to us, that he knew us before we were formed, that every second of our lives was revealed to him before we were ever created. But in our lives, with our struggles, our trials, our troubles, we can ask, why am I the way I am? I want to turn to the book of Romans, chapter 12. But let me share a couple of thoughts with this. We all have things we struggle with. That is universally true. Nobody can look at another person on this planet Earth and say you don't struggle with something. That is an impossible and foolish statement. But some of us struggle with things where we look at ourselves and ask ourselves, why is this true about me? Whether that's a physical ailment. I know some folks who struggle with disabilities. Whether that's a mental ailment, whether that's depression or anxiety. I've been pretty honest from this pulpit in the past that depression is one of the great struggles of my life. But other people struggle with anxiety. They struggle with anger. They struggle with hurt over different things. People struggle with heartbreak and hurt from family members or relatives, things that have happened, the things that they've done in the past, the things that have gone on, the things that have been done to them. And you look at yourself and your struggles and your hurts and you ask, why am I this way? Why is this true of me? Why do I struggle with this physical ailment? Why do I struggle with this mental or emotional ailment? Why? Why do I have to live with this? What good does this serve? What purpose does this serve? It makes my life miserable. It makes me less effective for the ministry. Why is this true of me? The answer is right there in that verse. God tells you he knew you before you were formed. The you that is sitting in this room today, okay, has a perfect will of God for the rest of your life from this point moving forward. The Bible says in Romans chapter 12, I'm just going to look at verse 2 here. It says, Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The Bible says in verse 6, let me look at this. Having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. It goes on saying to list some of those gifts, but you need to understand something. The way you are is for a purpose. Listen, that includes the emotional struggles you might have. Depression, anxiety, anger, rage. That includes physical ailments you deal with. That includes the things that have been done to you in the past, the hurts that you have suffered at the hands of others. That even includes the things that you have done wrong in the past. Your sins of the past serve a purpose in the perfect will of God for your future. Job asked, why has this been done to me for the suffering that he was put through? Moses asked, why is this happening? Why have I been chosen of all people to lead the children of Israel? Paul asked, why is this thorn of the flesh come on me and troubling me? And why aren't you taking it away, Lord? Many of the the people of God have asked, why is this true? The answer here is because that trouble is a tool for you to use for the service of God.
1 minute.
You struggle with anxiety or depression, I guarantee you God intends you to help people who struggle with anxiety or depression at some point in the future. When, and I say when, you have victory over that struggle, you will help someone else who struggles with it down the road. You ask, why do I have this physical ailment? There are doors that will be opened to you to serve God. Why did I do this in the past? It's hampered my Christian life. It's damaged my opportunities for God, but it's opened other doors.
That's right.
And God will use that to reach out to somebody who wouldn't hear someone who's grown up in a Christian home, who's never fallen into sin, who's lived what seems like a perfect life. They won't hear that, but when you can talk about what God saved you from, listen, that testimony will speak to them.
Amen.
All things work together for them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. You are called by God for a purpose, and everything in your life works for good to that purpose. If you follow the will of God, if you submit to his will. Now, while you're in the struggle, while I'm in the struggle, it doesn't seem like it. And there are going to be times when you're going to resist that, and you're going to want to resist that. But just understand that the way God has made you is for a purpose that only you can serve, and that you are perfectly suited for. And have faith in God on that account.
Amen.